Hello everyone, Clayton here at trailer.com. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install Roadmaster's Tow Defender on our 2014 Honda CRV. This Tow Defender is going to stop any rocks or dirt and debris from kicking up underneath of our RV onto our towed vehicle. It does a really good job and it looks pretty nice, but in front of our vehicle as well. It is going to be constructed out of a heavy-duty mesh material, so we don't have to worry about anything penetrating this and possibly hitting our vehicle. On the front of our arms here, there is an actuator on each side. And what this does is it'll pivot when we turn. This will just make contact with the mud flap on our RV and compress when we're turning, and then spring back out for when we go straight. It has a bracket that slides over the shank of our tow bar, and there's a set screw right down here. All you do is tighten that down and it keeps it from pivoting forward and backward. Another nice feature is if you do switch tow bars, you can still use this because it'll fit around that shank and you just tighten it down for the correct distance. There are two connection points. It connects to the tab on our tow bar. There's just a little L bracket that comes here. To disconnect it, all we do is pull out this safety pin. We'll do that on both sides. There's two back arms on our Tow Defender here that connect into our tow bar. There's little tabs that we mount onto the tow bar, and there's a solid bracket that this fits into. When we're ready to disconnect it, all we do is pull out on this little safety pin and take it out. It's the same on the other side. Now when this is disconnected, all we have to do is pull up and then wrap it up into itself. And this comes in handy whenever we are not flat towing, because it simply just stows on our tow bar on the back of our RV. You get it rolled up like so. And then our kit does come with straps. All we do is take those straps and wrap them around the Tow Defender. There are going to be 4 straps, so you can do 1 or 2 on each side. When we're ready to flat tow, we can make all of our safety cable connections and everything onto our vehicle, pull our RV forward to get our tow bars locked, and then we can come back to our Tow Defender and pop these straps off. With these straps popped off, we can now grab our Tow Defender and unravel it like so. Then we can drop our Tow Defender into the channels and add our safety pins. When we add our safety pins, just slide them right through, come over and latch it together. You want to make sure to do this on both sides. As far as our installation, it really isn't that bad. It's just making sure we have our mesh in the right direction and getting everything hooked up correctly. With all that being said, this is a really good product and it will definitely protect your vehicle. Now I'll go ahead and show you how we got it installed. To start our installation, we want our car pulled up to our RV, right where it's going to be hooked up. That way we have a good idea of the distance. Now we will have to pull forward and get our arms into the locking position. We can do that here in a few minutes. We can go ahead and grab our plate. As you can see, there's a screw on the bottom side here. Now this is going to control where this sits on the shank of our tow bar. We're going to go ahead, slide this on just like so, with the screw facing our RV. We can pull the pin out of our tow bar. We'll slide it out of our shank. Like I said, we'll slide this right over, all the way down to the bottom, and then we'll put our tow bar back into our hitch. Now we want to unravel our covering here. We do want to take the actuator here with the whole end here. We're going to push this down and snap it on to our ball. Push it down like so. It can be kind of tough. We'll pivot it over and snap it onto there. Now we want to unravel our covering. We are going to pull our arms out square. Then we can grab our actuator. We're going to push the socket end onto the ball end. Just going to push it together. You'll hear a nice snap, just like so. We'll repeat that same process on our other side. We can now pick up our covering. We're going to take it over to that plate and just set it on top like so. We are going to want to line up these holes with the holes in our bracket. Our kit is going to include a small bolt and lock washer. we want to grab those and get them bolted in to our plate to secure our screening. There are a couple different settings you can choose. I'm going to choose the higher setting. So we'll slide our bolt through the top there, push it through the back side, and get our nut started. We'll repeat that same process for this hole. To tighten these down, we're going to use a 14mm socket and wrench. We now want to reconnect our tow bar, pull our RV forward, and get our arms into the locked position. We are now ready to add our bracket to our base plate. We're going to be removing this hardware here. Depending on how your connection point and your tow bar line up, there might be hardware in between here, like little plastic spacers. In this case, we don't have any, so we're going to go ahead and take this off. And in our case, we're using a 3/4 inch socket. We'll take this off of here. We'll grab our lock nut off, add our bracket, we'll reinstall our locking nut. And again, this can vary with what hardware you have installed on your connection points. We'll tighten this down, and we want this bracket to sit straight from our base plate. We want this bracket sitting straight in line with our base plate. We'll go ahead and tighten it down the rest of the way. Right there should be good. We'll repeat that same process for our other side. We can now grab our back bar. One bar is going to have a push tab right here, and the other one's going to be open. We're going to slide them through that cover to where they connect like this. There are going to be a couple openings here on our Tow Defender. We're going to use this forwardmost opening. We can feed our pole through here. You're just going to follow this all the way through until one side is fed. You will have to kind of line it up and see where it falls within this bracket. Do it just like this. This can be kind of challenging, but if you just take your time, you can get it no problem. This loop right here is actually going to contact our hookup point, so we do want to skip that. We'll just feed right over it into our center portion. With these fed through, we're going to back feed this portion into the outside of our Tow Defender. We'll repeat that same process on our other side. Remember to skip this loop closest to the center. We're now ready to connect our two back bars. You want to make sure that this hole on the open side is located to where it'll snap into this one. There we go. We can now set it in our channel. We actually don't have a pin that lines up with this opening. We are going to have to drill a hole. We're going to use a 5/16 drill bit. We're going to drill straight through. You want to make sure to keep that drill bit as straight as possible. With our hole drilled through, we can grab our pin and push it through, latch it down. We're going to repeat that same process on our other side. With our last hole drilled, we can go ahead, slide through our pin. You might have to shake it around a little bit just to get that to line up. With that pin set, we can go ahead, pull our Defender back, and set the distance. If you remember, we had the set screw on our back plate. What we're going to do is pull that out to where our Defender is tight, thread in our bolt, take our lock nut, spin that down, grab our 14mm wrench, and tighten everything down. With our Tow Defender completely tightened down, we're ready to hit the road. That's going to do it for a look at and installation of Roadmaster's Tow Defender on our 2014 Honda CRV.